Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Guys at Magic. This is Hunter coming at you with another EDH deck tech. That is right, we're taking a look at another legendary creature from the latest set of Final Fantasy. This one was voted on by our Indestructible tier over on our Patreon, because thanks to them, we throw out a poll every once in a while, ask what kind of deck tech they want to see, they vote on it. This was the winner this time. So, what deck is it? Obviously, you already know. You've clicked on the link of this video, you saw the description, you saw the thumbnail, all that jazz. So you already know it's Lightning Army of One. And I'm going to be doing this deck tech a little different. Normally, when it comes to deck techs, I like to go ahead and build a deck based on people's suggestions, start from scratch, and every once in a while, I get that itch after I build that deck. I actually go and upgrade it and build it for myself, because we like to keep a budget between $300 and $400, if you remember, for these deck techs. This time, I'm doing things different. And the reason I'm doing things different is because I have this deck. This is my own personal deck I'm going to show off. So we have Lightning Army of One right here. Nice and shiny. So yeah, this is the deck I built right before MagicCon Las Vegas. I took it to MagicCon Las Vegas. I played with it. I just picked up a bunch of cards for it and had a blast. So let's go ahead and start by talking about our commander first, and then we'll jump into the guts of the deck. Before we get started, just want to remind everybody to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because we're almost at 20,000 subs, and you do not want to miss our giveaway when we do that. But let's go ahead and talk about the commander. It is Lightning Army of One. It is 1 red and a white for a 3/2 legendary creature human soldier. It's got first strike, it's got trample, it's got lifelink, and it has stagger, which means whenever lightning deals combat damage to a player until your next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls, it deals double that damage instead. So that's the name of the game, right? We're trying to stagger our opponents, catch them off guard, and then if our opponents, until our next turn, if our opponents deal any damage to that person we've done damage to, all of the damage is doubled. It's fantastic. So the way I've kind of built this deck is just that. I put cards in this deck to give me extra combats, but I really wanted to stagger our opponents, meaning I've thrown cards in here that people weren't expecting to have with Lightning Army of One. So I'm kind of a bit of a control deck in Boros, and I felt like that was a fun strategy to go around. Like I said, trying to stagger our opponents, catch them off guard, be like, why are you playing that card? Just because. So let's go ahead and jump straight into this deck. So the first couple creatures we're talking about, a bit of utility here. So Ornithopter of Paradise, 2 mana, 0/2 flyer. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color. Get the colors we need. Mother of Ruins, a bit of protection here. 1 mana, 1/1. You can tap it, target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Bastion Protector is 2 and a white for a 3/3 that says commander creatures you control have +2/+2 and have indestructible. So it really keeps lightning around, because we do not want lightning to die, because lightning is so important to this build. So we're also throwing in Lizard Blades. It's 1 and a red for a 1/1 double strike. Equipped creature has double strike, and you can reconfigure this for 2, which means you can use this as an equipment attached to something else to give that double strike. We equipped Lightning. Lightning will now have double strike, and then we will deal damage, and then it will be doubled, and then we will deal damage again, and that will be doubled, but also the damage we just did is now doubled. So until our next turn, damage is doubled. Good luck to that person. Professional Facebreaker, final utility piece kind of we're thrown in, is 2 and a red. Do 3, creature, human warriors, got menace, and whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. You can sacrifice a treasure, exile the top card of your library, you can play that card this turn. All I'm about is making treasure. We need extra mana, we need to do extra things, we need to protect our board. Just, yeah, use mana. The next creatures I'm calling the Don't Touch Me package. Basically, I'm saying, hey, let me do my thing, don't bother me. Agitator Ant is 2 and a red for a 2/2 creature insect. It's at the beginning of your end step, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. Go to each creature that had counters put on this way. People like to take counters because counters make damage happen bigger, right? So it's a really good incentive for your opponent to say, I'll take those 2 counters, which means they can't attack you now. Swing over at the person that gets double damage, not us. Also, you could put those counters on your own creature. Yeah, we're throwing it on top of lightning, because first strike, trample, lifelink, Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. Grand Abolisher is 2 white for a 2/2. During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Like I said, let us do our thing. Leave us alone. Voice of Victory, very similar. 1 and a white for a 1/3. It's got Mobilize 2, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Windborn Muse is 3 and a white for a 2/3 creature spirit. It's got flying. It says creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Myral, Shield of Argive is 3 and a white for a 3/4 legendary creature, Human Soldier. It says during your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. And as a bonus, it says whenever Myral, a Shield of Argive, attacks, you create X 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of soldiers you control. Fun fact, Lightning is a soldier. So swing in, get some more soldiers, keep making the board bigger, 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 bigger. Alexios, Demos of Cosmos, is 3 and a red for a 4/4 legendary creature human berserker. It's got trample, and it says it attacks each combat if able. It cannot be sacrificed, and it cannot attack its owner, which is us. So it's our card. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player gains control of Alexios, untaps it, puts a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains haste until end of turn. So you drop this down, and then just around and round it goes, attacking all of your opponents. I absolutely love this card. These next two, they care about attack triggers. They care about making more tokens. We are going to be doing extra combats with some creatures you'll see in a moment. But once we get those extra combats, we can do it multiple times with these attack triggers. Adeline, Resplendent Cathar, is 1 and 2 white for a star 4 legendary creature human knight. It's got vigilance, and its power is equal to the number of creatures you control. And whenever you attack, for each opponent, you create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. And a Nymphicall, Thousandth Moon, is 1 red white for a 1/2 legendary creature human soldier. Whenever you attack with 1 or more non-gnome creatures, you put a +1/+1 counter on a Nymphicall, then create X 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature tokens that are tapped and attacking, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on a Nymphicall. So 2 really good cards that just make the board very wide very quickly. Then, like I said, multiple attack triggers. It's going to be fun. Our deck is all about damage, so the next creatures care about producing damage. Balefire Liege, 2 hybrid red-white, hybrid red-white, hybrid red-white. It's a 2/4 creature spirit horror. Other red creatures you control get +1/+1. Other white creatures you control get +1/+1. And whenever you cast a red spell, Balefire Liege deals 3 damage to target player or planeswalker. Whenever you cast a white spell, you gain 3 life. So, because Lightning is both red and white, it gets +2/+2. And then whenever you're casting red spells, which the deck is pretty heavy red, pretty also heavy white, so I guess you're gonna be I guess you'll be gaining some life as well, but just keep hitting that opponent that you just dealt double damage. They're gonna be taking 6 damage, maybe 12 damage. It gets crazy. Brash Taunter, 4 and a red for a 1/1 creature goblin, indestructible. Whenever Brash Taunter is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. 2 and a red, tap it. Brash Taunter fights another target creature. Yeah, Brash Taunter is just going to be sitting on our board as a little blocker. In case people want to attack us, we'll say, no, we'll block with Brash Taunter and deal however many damage we just blocked to target opponent that has double damage. Heartless Hidetsugu is just hilarious to me. It's 3 and 2 red for a 4/3 legendary creature Ogre Shaman. You could tap it. Heartless Hidetsugu deals damage to each player equal to half that player's life total rounded down. If we just hit someone with lightning, tap down Heartless Hidetsugu, that person's now dead. Yeah, it does hit you for double damage, but we're trying to create chaos over here. Kedis, Emberclaw Familiar, is 1 and a red for a 1/1 legendary creature elemental lizard. Whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. Now I understand that we aren't going to be dealing combat damage to every opponent because lightning unfortunately only triggers on combat damage, but it is lifelink damage, so we are going to be getting some life back by hitting all of our other opponents with Kedis here. And who knows, if we have double strike, we'll be gaining so much life because we're double damage, yeah, you get the idea. Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight, 4 red, 2 white, 5/5 legendary creature angel, flying, first strike. If a source would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, that source deals double that damage to that player or permanent instead. And if a source would deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent half that damage rounded up. So another one of those, hey, we're doubling damage here. Also, if you're trying to really hit us, if you don't like our strategy, we'll take half that damage. Thank you very much. Finally, time to talk about the creatures that do more combat. So like I said, we are trying to focus heavily on just an extra combat deck, but also stagger our opponents to be like, I don't know what just hit me. So yeah, we're hitting them pretty hard. So Aurelia the War Leader, 2 red, 2 white, 3/4, legendary creature angel, flying, vigilance, haste. Whenever it attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's additional combat phase. Bloodthirster is 5 and a red for a 6/6 creature demon. It's got flying and trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, untap it. After this combat phase, there's additional combat phase. Bloodthirster can't attack a player it already attacked this turn. Combat Celebrant, 2 and a red for a 4/1 creature human warrior. If it hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks, and when you do, you untap all other creatures you control. After this phase, there's additional combat phase. Karlach, Fury of Avernus, 4 and a red for a 5/4 legendary creature. Tiefling Barbarian is whenever you attack the first combat phase of this turn, untap all attacking creatures. They gain first strike till end of turn. After this phase, their additional combat phase. Morag, Fury of Akom, 4 and 2 red for a 6/6 legendary creature. Minotaur Warrior. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it attacked this turn. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of combat, untap all creatures you control. And last but not least, Port Razor, 3 and 2 red, 4/4 creature orc pirate. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there's additional combat phase. Port Razor can't attack a player it already attacked this turn. So, combat, combat, combat. Damage, damage, damage. We are going to wipe the board so fast if we could keep lightning around. That's the name of the game. Next up, for the sorcery department, we've got some removal. This is our uh-oh buttons. We've got 2 board wipes. Blasphemous Act, 8 and a red sorcery. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. It deals 13 damage to each creature. Like I said, this is our uh-oh buttons. If we're not doing the thing we're supposed to do and our opponents are getting a little bit too crazy ahead of us, stop it. Wrath of God, 2 and 2 white. Destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. We are also goading things. You saw it with Agitator Ant. We want our opponents to attack each other, not us. So let's add some goad cards. Disrupt Decorum, 2 and 2 red sorcery. Goad all creatures you don't control. Easy to the point. Taunt from the Rampart, 3 red and a white. Goad all creatures your opponents control. Until your next turn, those creatures can't block. So the great thing about this card is those creatures can't block. So you play this, you get in with lightning, maybe a double strike damage, maybe a couple different combats on all of your opponents. It gets absolutely nuts. And then everyone's got double damage, maybe quadruple damage. They're just going to be attacking each other. You're just going to watch people die. Combat, combat, combat. We want more combats. So these last 3 sorceries, more combats. Full throttle, 4 and 2 red. After this main phase, there are 2 additional combat phases. At the beginning of each combat this turn, untap all creatures that attack this turn. Relentless Assault, 2 red. Untap all creatures that attack this turn. After this main phase, there is an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. Seize the Day, 3 and a red. Untap target creature. After this main phase, there's an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. Also has flashback of 2 and a red. Give lightning all of the combats. Time to move on to some instants. We'll talk about removal first. Path to Exile, Swords of Plowshares. Has to go into a deck that's white. They both exile target creature. Path, it goes and lets them go ahead and get a basic land untapped. Swords goes ahead and gains life equal to its power. You know what they do. Chaos Warps, 2 and a red. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into the library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield. Moving on, we got some protection. Dawn's Truce is 1 and a white for an instant. You can gift a card. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. If the gift was promised, permanents you control also gain indestructible until end of turn. And Flawless Maneuver for 2 and a white. It's an instant. If you control a commander, you can cast this spell without paying its mana cost. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Like I said, we are trying to protect what we're doing. We're going to get out of hand very quickly. Speaking of getting out of hand very quickly, this is where the deck starts to turn into a deck that people don't normally expect. I threw in some counter spells. That's right. You're countering in Boros. What's more to stagger your opponent than doing that? So this first counter is Rebuff the Wicked. I'm surprised people don't play this card more often. It is 1 white mana for an instant that says counter target spell that targets a permanent you control. If anyone's trying to use targeted removal, this 1 white mana just says no, you're not doing that. Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast is these cards that I felt were so hilarious just to play because people don't normally play them. They are both 1 red mana that say you can counter a blue spell or destroy a blue permanent. Real story from Las Vegas. I tapped 1 red mana for a red elemental blast, and I countered Steven's 7 mana Ureni, and he was not happy. So take that as a stagger, if you will. And the final one is Reprieve. Not necessarily a counter, but does similar effect. It's 1 and a white instant that says return target spell to his owner's hand. So it's just like pushing it back to their hand for a turn. If they spend a bunch of mana on it, just say, no, go back to your hand. Not do that right now. And you can also draw a card from this card as well. These next instants are kind of modal spells. Lets you choose one, maybe choose multiple. You'll see. Untimely Malfunction, 1 and a red. It says choose one. You can destroy target artifact, change the target of spell or ability with a single target, or 1 or 2 creatures can't block this turn. The amount of weight that this pulls in a deck is insane. It was in the 99 when Duskmourn came out. I wholeheartedly believe in this card. That's why it's in this deck. Boros Charm, red and a white. Choose one. You can have it deal 4 damage to target player or planeswalker, or permanents you control gain indestructible until end turn, or target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Like I said, this card is so good in this deck because it gives you protection if you need it. It gives you that double strike to get the double damage for lightning. And then if you already had the double damage, finish someone off by dealing, what is that? 16 damage. Chroma's Will, 3 and a white instant, choose one. If you control a commander as you cast this, you can choose both instead. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until end of turn, or creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from each color until end of turn. Once again, fits really well in this deck because we want to protect, we want to deal more damage. Yeah. Great Train Heist is 1 red with a spree cost, which means you can pay into it additionally times. You can pay an additional 2 in a red, untap all creatures you control. If it's your combat phase, there is an additional combat phase after this phase, or combats. You can also pay 2 extra. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain first strike until end of turn. And you can pay a red extra, choose target opponent. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to that player this turn, you create a tapped treasure token. All of these modes are really good as well. These last 3 instants don't normally have a category I put into, but hey, really good in the deck too. Deflecting Palm, 1 red and a white. It says the next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. If damage is prevented this way, Deflecting Palm deals that much damage to that source's controller. So if you're getting hit with something very large, you just say, you just got hit by the same thing. Not me. Psychotic Fury, 1 and a red for an instant that says target multicolored creature gains double strike until the end of turn, draw a card. This, like I said, giving our commander double strike, drawing a card. It's good. Take the Bait, 2 red, white, instant. Cast this spell only during an opponent's turn and only during combat. It's very, very easy to miss. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control. Untap all attacking creatures and goad them. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. We'll give someone else an additional combat, as long as they're not swinging at me. Let's move on to some artifacts. We will start with the rocks. Soul Ring is 1 mana, tap for 2 colorless. Arcane Signet is 2. You can tap it, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Talismanic Conviction is 2. You can tap for a colorless, or you can tap it for a red or a white. If you do, it deals 1 damage to you. Mind Stone is 2. You can tap it for colors. You can pay 1, tap it, sacrifice it, draw a card. And Felwar Stone, 2 mana, tap it, add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls would produce. The next artifacts care about combat importance. Also just general good stuff. Dolmen Gate, 2 mana. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. Just in case our opponents can block and we have more combats, we say, I don't care about you blocking. It's not going to do any damage to my stuff. Swiftfoot Boots, 2. Equipped creature has hexproof and haste, equip cost of 1. And Lightning Greaves is also 2 for an equipment that says equipped creature has haste and shroud, equip cost of 0. Like I said, haste is so important. That is the only keyword our commander is missing, so we need to give it here. Brotherhood Regalia, 2 mana for an artifact equipment that says equipped creature has Ward 2, is an assassin in addition to other types, and cannot be blocked. Equipped a legendary creature for 1, or just equipped for 3. You're probably always going to be equipping your commander. It's what I did in my games when I was in Vegas. Whenever I got this card, I was just able to go ahead and smack on Brotherhood Regalia, get that little bit of protection with Ward 2, get in with that automatic damage because it can't be blocked. Ember Cleave is 4 and 2 red, but it will probably never cost that. It has Flash. It says this spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. And when Ember Cleave enters the battlefield, you attach it to a target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. Yes, please. Equip cost of 3. Genji Glove. Love this card. 5 mana. Equipped creature has double strike. Whenever equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap it. After this phase, there's additional combat phase, equip cost of 3. I feel like this card was meant for Lightning because that is such a mean combination. It gives double strike and extra combats, which is exactly what this deck is trying to do with Lightning. It's a must include. Moving on to some enchantments. No real category here. We only have 5 in the whole deck, so let's just go over them real quick. Rising of the Day. 2 and a red for an enchantment. It says creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. Aggravated Assault, 2 and a red. Enchantment, pay 3 and 2 red. Untap all creatures you control. If it's the main phase, there's an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. Activate only as a sorcery. Love how that's not like a tap ability or anything like that. If you have a bunch of mana, just keep pumping all the mana into there. Get as many combats as you can pay for. Duelist's Heritage, 2 and a white for an enchantment that says whenever 1 or more creatures attack, you may have target attacking creature gain double strike until end of turn. Keep in mind that it's not just your creatures that you can do that to. So if your opponents are attacking each other, give one of their creatures double strike to hit our opponent for double. Ghostly Prison gives a little bit more protection, 2 and a white. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. And last but not least is Trouble in Pairs. It's 2 and 2 white. It says if an opponent would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. And whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card. You're going to be drawing so many cards out Trouble in Pairs. This is one of the best enchantments they've printed in a very long time for white. So put it in the deck. And last but certainly not least, we are moving into our land department. We're talking about utility first. Access Tunnel and Rogue's Passage do something similar. They both tap for colorless. Access Tunnel, you pay 3, tap it, target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. Rogue's Passage, you can pay 4, tap it, just target creature can't be blocked this turn. We are trying to just make sure that Lightning just gets in and gets that double damage rolling. Shivan Gorge is just kind of annoying for our opponents. So you can tap for a colorless, you can pay 2 and a red, tap it, and it just deals 1 damage to each opponent. We got that quad, maybe even more damage on our opponent. They're probably dead by that point, but whatever. You can tap it and deal 4 damage. Slayer's Stronghold, you can tap it to add a colorless. You can pay a red and a white, tap it. Creature gets +2/+0 and gains vigilance and haste until the end of turn. Once again, another way to give our commander haste. Sunhome, Fortress of Legion, you can tap it to add a colorless. You can pay 2 red, white, tap it. Creature gains double strike until end of turn. And then War Room, just a bit more card draw here. Tap it for a colorless, pay 3, tap it. Pay life equal to the number of colors in your commander's color identity. Only 2. Draw a card. Arena of Glory enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain. You can tap it for a red, or you can pay a red, tap it, exert Arena of Glory to add 2 red. If that mana is spent on a creature spell, it gains haste until end of turn. Keep in mind that 2 red can be split up into 2 other creatures. But hey, haste. Plaza of Heroes, you can tap for a colorless, you can tap to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a legendary spell. You can tap to add 1 mana of any color among legendary permanents you control. Or you can pay 3, tap it, exile Plaza of Heroes, target legendary creature gains hexproof and indestructible end of turn. Fantastic inclusion of this card. Just trying to protect my stuff. Yigandro, Seed of the Empire, you can tap it for a white, or you channel this away for 2 and a white. Discard Yigandro, Seed of the Empire. It deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. So let's just say one of our opponents was trying to block lightning. We can channel this away, deal 4 damage to that creature. Hopefully lightning has enough power to trample over the remainder of whatever that toughness was. Talking about some of the lands that do our colors. Command Tower, tap it for 1 mana of any color in our commander's color identity. Exotic Orchard, you can tap it for 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Battlefield Forge, you can tap for colors or tap it for a red or a white. It deals 1 damage to you if it do. Clifftop Retreat, land enters tapped unless you control a mountain or plains. Tap for red or white. Needle Verge Pathway, you can play it on the red side, play it on the white side, tap it for those colors. Sacred Foundry, enters the battlefield tapped unless you pay 2 life. Just pay 2 life. It's a mountain plains. It's both. Spectator Seating is our bond land. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. Sun Billow Verge. You can tap it for a white or tap it for a red. Activate only if you control a mountain or plains. And Sundown Pass. This land enters tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. And last but certainly not least, we are adding 9 basic mountains and 9 basic plains. So that's it. That is my lightning build. That's the deck I came up with before I went to Vegas. Had some cards lying around, picked up some singles, and boom, threw together. At the time of recording, the deck is in range of the normal budget upgrade, which is between $300 and $400. So yeah, check it out in the link description. It's my own version of lightning. It's different. We're trying to stagger our opponents, make them not expect what's coming. A lot of these cards in here in Vegas, people were like, wait, what? You're playing what? That's what I'm doing. So lightning, the thing about it, I was not expecting to build anything out of Final Fantasy. No fandom towards Final Fantasy. When I saw this set, I was like, all right, I'll buy a box or 2, which I did because singles are important, but I'm not investing any money in building a new deck. And then lightning came out and I said, oh my God, this is what I wanted. I wanted an extra combat step commander, and here it is. You're going to be destroying your opponent so quickly. Sometimes a little too quickly where your other opponents feel bad. And that's the only downside about this card. Your other opponents feel bad that if they were to attack that opponent, they would just die. So hopefully you're not playing a table with empathy, because that is a real issue. Otherwise, you're having a lot of fun, right? You're just dealing a bunch of damage to everybody. Multiple combats though. Multiple combats, deal a bunch of damage to everybody. Now everybody's on equal playing field. Double damage for the whole table, except for yourself, obviously. It gets so much fun. Chaos ensues. But let me know what you guys think about this deck. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below. Again, I'm interested to hear your guys' opinion. Is it something that you would have built? Check it out. Links in the description for the box field. Play test it yourself. Like I said, it's so much fun. A lot of compliments on this deck. I know the other guys were tired of playing against it in Vegas. It's fun. I'm bringing this to the table the next time we play in person, see how it performs again. But that's gonna do it. If you guys wanted to check out all the other stuff that we are on, all of the social media links and whatnot, that's in the description as well, and on the screen right now. Those are all of our Patreon subscribers. Thank you guys so much for your added support. If you guys want to check out what they're seeing, which includes early access content, including this video, they saw it early, days before you. Check it out. Link in the description. And a very special shout out to our Gains Indestructible tier, who once again voted on this deck. So shout out to them. Starting with Aaron Hill, Aaron Martin, Brian Ganella, Daryl Tripp, Demarion Turner, Doc Jerome, Jimmy Ward, Kevo, Larry Killian, Samuel Abbott, Thrifty PSGR, and William Colombo. You guys are awesome. Appreciate every single one of you. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.